Durant. Blows by Primo. Attack.
Jokic in the power. Here it goes. Got it. Denver has won.
But that's my stubborn side. Like, it's easy to go somewhere and go win a championship with somebody else. It's easy. But this is the hard way to do it, and we did it.
We welcome you in to the Small Ball Podcast alongside Trevor Michelin and Christian Dennis. I'm Scott Ayers. The podcast is back.
We back.
We back. It was a 3-week hiatus. We went home. We opened some gifts. We celebrated the new year. But the Small Ball Podcast has returned in 2023. Gosh.
This is our year, Jordan year.
This is our year. We're really excited. Christmas was great, and what a Christmas gift. Santa brought us a new producer.
A new producer. So we said, out with the old. See ya, Andy. In with the new. So from intern to producer, we have Matt G in the studio. What's up, Matt G?
Yeah, he's handed a mic.
Hello. That sounds good. That sounds real nice. That sounds good.
Doing his job.
Wow, that is nice. What's up, guys?
We're happy to have you, man.
I'm
Matt.
so stoked to be here.
Yeah, I know you haven't worked in a position like this. How does it feel to work for a primetime podcast?
Yeah.
I'm so nervous. This is insane.
Yeah.
That's good. All right,
Yeah.
give Christian his mic back.
People listen to
Yeah,
us in the Philippines. I hope you guys know that.
Hello.
That's right, Spotify Rap. So
Yeah.
let's get into this
Oh, okay.
because we have a segment that we're thinking of because 3 weeks, Trevor, Christian, and I, we've all graduated school, and one thing that kind of helped us was Spark Notes.
Yeah,
got
big
us through
time.
some of the tougher things. So we're gonna do some Spark Notes over the last few weeks of basketball that you've missed. We'll catch you up to speed. Because we have a lot of people on the show. They don't watch basketball. They only listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Right, guys?
Yep.
But first, let's talk about our Spotify Wrapped. Trevor, you mentioned it. The Philippines, 5 countries.
I think 6, actually.
6 countries
Whoa.
listen to
6.
Small Ball.
We are an international podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, that was awesome to see. There were some other stats that I don't have off the top of my head. That was probably
Doesn't
a
matter.
month ago. But it's encouraging stuff. We appreciate anyone that's checking in and listening to us as we learn how to do a podcast.
Maybe we need to start talking more about Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, maybe-
because
yeah.
the Philippines loves Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, they do.
Jordan Clarkson's our guy. We're a huge Utah
Jordan Clarkson
Jazz.
podcast.
He plays for the Jazz, yeah.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson, hit us up, man. We would love to have you on.
Yeah, that was
He
really
is
good.
never going to hit us up.
Hey, man, you don't know who's listening in the Philippines. Could be like a cousin or something.
That's true. Yep.
All right, perfect.
All right.
So that's one Spark Note. Another of which, we've had a giant shakeup in the Western Conference. In the number 1 seed right now, the Denver Nuggets, a half-game lead over Memphis. New Orleans at that 3 seed. The Sacramento Kings at 5. Christian, one thing that you and I are very happy about, we can roll the tape at some point. The Phoenix Suns are currently 8th, and they are in a bit of a free fall down the West standings, tied for 9th with the Golden State Warriors. And, you know, if you guys remember a conversation we had at the beginning, before the season,
Pull up the receipts.
pull up the receipts is what Kyle Gearing said to me. He said, the Phoenix Suns will be better than the Denver Nuggets.
Can I respond to all that hype of you guys?
Yeah.
No, not
So-
at all, actually. You
So,
can't.
so Kyle Gearing and I believe that the Suns are going to be a top 3 team. I would still say that. We've seen the downfall happen around the same time Devin Booker went out. Maybe it was a little bit before, sure, but Devin Booker's been out, and he is going to be out for a little bit longer. So makes sense why they're falling. I still believe in this team despite their recent struggles.
No, I believe in this team finishing about 5th in the West, which is what Chris and I predicted. I made a comment that said I wouldn't be shocked if they finished 9th in the West. And
Shocked.
I said I wouldn't be shocked. A lot of Suns
You're
fans-
safe. If they fall anywhere in the West, basically, you're safe with that comment.
No. We're saying they're not going to be above top 5.
Got it. Okay. 5 to 9.
5 to 9.
Okay.
And Suns fans are saying, our Suns friends are saying that's ridiculous, that's crazy. All I'm saying is we're looking at the receipts right now. They're currently
We're
tough.
looking at the numbers. Everything's adding up that they're
Yeah.
not a top 5 team.
Yeah. Here's another chapter that happened. Here's another Spark Notes section for you, if you will. Christmas Day, man, Nikola Jokic was a naughty boy. He got coal from Santa with a crazy performance, beating the Suns. He dropped 41 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists. I feel like he's done that like 3 times in the past month.
Yeah, his December was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing that game after game. A great split with the Sacramento Kings. Both teams played really well and came from behind. Christmas Day game was amazing, and it was capped off by an Aaron Gordon dunk. That is one of the best live dunks I've seen ever.
Hasn't Landry Shamet been hurt ever since that game? Like, I feel like he's like, the Suns are like, hey, man, like, you need to lay low for a couple days because what that man did to you is not acceptable.
Yeah, it was disrespectful. And he was having the best game of his career.
Yeah.
I would argue that he's a fringe all-star type player this year. Like, not like a guy that, like, upright will get into the all-star. A couple guys have to get hurt for Aaron Gordon to get an all-star nod. But, like, he's playing really well.
He is. He's having a career year in points per game. I would agree some guys would have to go down with an injury.
A lot of guys.
Like, he's like 5 guys at least.
5 guys. At first, I thought you were talking about Landry.
I was like, what are you?
Wow.
Still, AG is, in my opinion, but maybe if like 10 guys get hurt, if COVID runs rampant through the NBA.
Which
We've seen crazier
Yeah, we've
things.
seen crazier things. Here's another guy with a massive performance on Christmas Day. Not as big as Nikola Jokic, but Christian Wood, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. They beat the Lakers. We've seen him kind of come back into, the spotlight and being a guy that is valued across the NBA because at the start of the season, he was struggling and he couldn't really find his role in Dallas. They weren't starting him, and now he's playing really good basketball.
Yeah, I think Dallas was just trying to figure out how to play him and how to fit him into the role. But I think they're figuring out that, like with him and Luka, there's a nice little combo there that they can go to, and we're seeing the benefits of them figuring it out.
Yeah, and Dallas, we mentioned Luka. Let's briefly talk about his historic performance. What was it, 60, 20, and 10, or 60, 10, and 10?
Christian's looking it up.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
oh my gosh.
One of the greatest performances that we've seen. We've seen some of the best performances in NBA history this season. Joel Embiid's 59-point game. We see Luka a couple weeks ago. Jokic's Christmas Day triple-double.
Yeah.
And then just a couple nights ago, Donovan Mitchell, 71 points in a overtime win for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
What was Luka's stat line that night?
It was 60 points, 21 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Oh my gosh. That's just stupid.
That's disgusting.
Like, that is just dumb.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's like a my 2K player,
Yes,
and I
dude.
purchased all the VC
VC.
bucks just to get my guy to 99.
Yeah, that is unbelievable.
It's been a really fun season because Donovan Mitchell, 71 points. It just feels like there's a special night almost every single night in the NBA right now.
Absolutely.
SGA being another player that continues to be great. He's currently out, but he has been phenomenal for OKC. And guys, that kind of brings up our next topic, the 2018 NBA draft.
Uh-oh.
Because SGA was taken in that draft, but there were quite a few players above SGA. He was taken 11th overall, and so I thought it would be fun. We were talking before the show. We thought it would be fun to go back over and redraft those top 5 picks.
Yeah, come on.
Because I think there's a lot of discourse there. DeAndre Ayton went number 1 that year. I don't think any of us would agree that Ayton is a number 1 pick.
No, I would agree. Yeah, this draft you look back on and you see name after name after name of guys that are major contributors for their team now.
Yeah, I remember this draft and thinking like, man, I hope the Suns take Luka because I felt like I just had a feeling the Kings weren't going to take him or was going to do something stupid, which they ended up doing. And it's like, I didn't want to be the team that passed on Luka.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there was 2 teams, three teams,
Atlanta.
you could say, that passed up on Luka, who is generational talent.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a fun thing as well. Atlanta obviously trading Luka for Trae Young. Trae Young, a exceptional offensive player, but it's like comparing an apple to the most perfect fruit ever in Luka Doncic.
Your analogies, as soon as you said comparing something, I was ready for just something pulled out of your butt, dude. That was
Whenever I enter an
the most
analogy,
incredible fruit ever. You made that up just now?
I did.
Didn't you just also mention peaches as your? Did you say apples?
Apples and the most incredible fruit ever. And I couldn't think of a fruit. That's how most of my analogies go. I start, I'm like, well, let's see where this takes us.
Yeah, so here's how the draft shaped up. We're going to just do top 5, correct?
Top 5, yep.
And is it all of us are going to be doing, each of us will do our own 5, or are we going to, couple of us? What is it?
Yeah, I think we can. I think the first pick is going to be all agreeing.
Yep. And from there, we'll each have our own.
Yeah, we each
have
have
our
our
own. That. So here's how it shaped up in 2018. We had Phoenix pick DeAndre Ayton. Sacramento picked Marvin Bagley. Atlanta picked Luka. Okay, Atlanta, it's kind of flip-flopped here. Dallas picked Luka Doncic. Memphis picked Jaren Jackson. Atlanta picked Trae Young. So those are the 5, and then there's a bunch of guys after that are worthy of being considered in the top 5. Wendell Carter, Mikal Bridges, SGA. I mean, I'm not, Miles Bridges is there, but
we don't talk
we're
about
anti-Miles Bridges.
Yep.
MPJ,
Anthony Simons.
Thank you. Yeah, those
Kevin
are
Huerter.
Kevin Huerter. Even, I mean, look at Boston selected Robert Williams too. He's been hurt, but those are all names worthy of being considered. So let's go in with that and see what happens, gentlemen.
So with the first pick of the 2018 NBA draft, we all select Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we just talked about how great he is.
Yeah, I don't think there needs to be anything said. Trevor, who would you take at number 2?
Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, and I think this is where we're going to have some debate and some discourse. I am selecting with the second pick in the 2018 NBA draft. Trevor McEwen's team selects Trae Young of Oklahoma.
And I think I will times 2 that
Thank
on
you.
Trae Young. Christian, we'll let you pick, and then if there's any
debate.
differences, we can discuss.
All right, boys. Right now,
2023.
2023.
Okay, give it to me.
I would much rather have
Okay.
SGA, Shai Gilgeous Alexander.
Yeah. I
And
love Shai.
both players, tremendous talents. Can't go wrong with either one. The reason
can't.
why I like SGA is he's bigger.
Yeah. He is.
He is unstoppable with the ball this year.
Okay.
He is he's averaging like 30 points per game.
Yeah.
And, he can do a little bit of everything from defense to offense, anything you want. I mean, you're looking at what OKC got in that trade with the Clippers for Paul George. And it's like, SGA is like just as good as Paul George right now. And that is why I pick SGA.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm not going to act like that's an egregious pick because I'm an SGA guy. I really do like him.
SGA podcast.
This is an SGA podcast. Yes, we are. Here's the thing, though, man. I look at the previous champions in the NBA, and I look at the stars on those teams. Aside from Giannis, you can look at Kyrie. You can look at Steph, obviously. And, man, what's something that those guys have in common? They can shoot the lights out of the ball. That doesn't make sense. You can shoot the... Yeah, that makes sense.
Shoot the lights out of the ball.
They
Shoot
could
the ball out of the lights.
They can do all of it. Both
The air out of the ball.
they're just incredible shooters. And even last night, we're watching Trae Young up against Golden State. And at the end of the game, it's give the ball to Trae Young. And he got a bucket almost every single time. They ended up losing just some bad turnovers by other Hawks players. But, in my opinion, I want Trae Young on my team because of the shooting ability and what we've seen have success in playoffs.
I see. That's where the conversation gets interesting. You just said because we've seen success in playoffs, but if SGA was on a good team, we could probably see the same success that Trae Young had. I mean, when you look at when they did make the playoffs with Chris Paul, that was obviously Young in his career and he was growing. I just think that his potential over Trae Young is higher than what Trae Young's ceiling can be.
I don't think SGA is a bad pick. I just think I would definitely rather have Trae.
The final thing I'll add is Trae Young is kind of that first Steph Curry prototype that we've seen at a high level. There's
Yeah.
definitely been guys who've tried to mold their game up after Steph that just don't have the same success.
Like me.
Yeah, like Trevor, like Christian, and even
Not
like
the same success.
Yeah, no, not the same success, but close.
Sure. Super close.
Super close. And we've seen the height that Steph can reach. I'm not saying that Trae Young is Steph Curry, but I do really like that prototype and why I have him just above SGA. It's
nice.
I think it's fair for number 3. We
Yeah.
just flip-flop.
Yeah, I picked SGA. You picked Trae Young.
Yeah.
Scott, SGA.
Yeah, SGA. Christian, I'll give you the number 4 pick. Who are you taking at 4?
With the number 4 pick, I feel like I'm taking DeAndre Ayton. I just think his offensive ability, his touch for a guy who's that big is really good. I mean, probably the other person I would maybe consider is Jaren Jackson Jr., but at the same time, I feel like Jaren Jackson Jr. hasn't really lived up to what people expect him to be. So I think DeAndre Ayton's the better player.
Yeah, I would go with Ayton at 4 as well. I think both him and Jaren Jackson Jr. haven't really lived up to expectations, but Ayton has shown those flashes that he can be a great big, but I wouldn't put him in a class of great bigs. But I would take him 4th overall because I do still see great potential.
Sure. I disagree with you guys. I'm going to go with Jaren Jackson Jr. And that's basically just because the sample size we've seen of Jaren Jackson, yes, he's battled injury, but when he's on the court, my goodness, he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. He gets stretched the floor. He plays, he's a modern day big. He's like literally, you think about bigs that you would want on a team in this time where teams are shooting the lights out of the ball. Thank you. Or the ball of the lights. He can shoot and play incredible defense. Really, that's what I would want with a big, more so than DeAndre Ayton. I see more value in Jaren Jackson. For that reason, I picked Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, and once again, that's another big debate that can't necessarily go wrong. Jaren Jackson Jr.'s injuries do scare me to the point where in my number 5 pick, I'm going to be taking Anthony Simons.
Good pick.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I absolutely love his game. Obviously just got paid this offseason. And when Dame has been out, he has really stepped up. And he's proven that he can be a real number 2 next to Dame Lillard. But what that also shows me is he can also be the main scoring threat of a team. Now, Portland had a lot of issues last year and a lot of health issues, but that was not on Anthony. He has just proven to me that he is a tremendous player. And in our redraft, finds his way all the way up to number 5.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, I'll pick my 5th. Here we go.
Go for it.
With the 5th pick of my draft, I select brother of NBA champion, Kostas Antetokounmpo.
Wow. Kostas.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that's
Okay.
a real shock factor.
I am picking Mikal Bridges. I'm not picking DeAndre. I'm not picking Anthony, MPJ. No, I'm picking Mikal
Really?
Bridges because, honestly, I look at the Suns. He's more valuable on that team than DeAndre is. I think you ask any Suns fan that watches every game,
They probably like Bridges more.
they'd rather have Bridges. And, yeah, I'm going with Mikal Bridges. He similar to Jaren Jackson, 3-and-D, ultimate 3-and-D guy. And I really like, both those guys are great for the locker room. Whereas a DeAndre Ayton, to me, that's another thing that I consider in this draft. I'm picking Mikal.
Maybe future Pacer DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah,
So
possibly.
you're saying DeAndre Ayton's not even in your top 5?
He's not in my top 5.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
That's interesting.
There you have it. I
Well,
think
you
you
guys-
could find affordable bigs on the free agent market every summer, and you don't have to pay them $20 million a year.
Well, you guys both kind of derailed my plan because I thought, I might go wild card and go Anthony Simons and then Scott. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll go Mikal Bridges.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
You went.
So you're gonna pick Kevin Huerter?
No. I'm going to pick.
Pick who you believe, man.
And I really like this player going into this draft. And I before the Sacramento Kings jumped, I really wanted us to get him.
Wendell.
No.
Does his name rhyme with Jarvin Magley?
No, gosh. I really like Michael Porter Jr.
Nice. I love it.
Yes, I was really high on Michael Porter Jr. Coming into this draft. Obviously, he dealt with injuries in college.
His spine doesn't even work.
But I don't even think his spine was the issue coming into the league.
It was his back.
Oh, it was his
a
back?
concern.
So his
Yeah.
foot injury was different.
Yeah, foot injury was different.
Yeah. But,
Spine, foot.
yeah, same thing. In high school, in this
Okay.
draft class, he was the number 1 rated player.
Yeah, he was.
And so I was just really high on him. His highlights were great shooter. Shot 50% in high school.
You want some other top high school prospects?
Yeah.
Skal Labissiere, Harry Giles. Where are they now?
Well, okay, Harry was injured. Let's give him a break.
Yeah.
But Scal,
MPJ.
Harry Giles, actually, he's on my naughty list. We're going back to
Christmas time.
real quick.
What do you do?
Well, so we did this thing as a small ball house where we all wanted to buy each other gifts.
Yeah.
And I bought Trev a cameo from Harry Giles, and he didn't respond.
Gosh, dude.
Harry, do the cameo, man.
Do the
Please.
cameo.
Yeah,
I
that's-
spent 20 bones on that thing.
Dude, that's not in his character.
So instead, I bought a cameo from the guy who sings Chocolate Rain.
It was like 3 minutes long, and
Yeah, he
it
called
was
you a
not
lion.
whatever you paid for it. You deserve a refund.
But I loved it. I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah, it's great. He did his thing.
Anyways, continue about MPJ.
Yeah, his shooting is tremendous. 6'10". Obviously as a Nuggets fan, you can
I
talk
love him.
about when he's healthy and he's shooting well. The Nuggets are insane.
It's a totally different team. I mean, he's able to space the floor when he's in the game. One issue, Denver. I'm not even going to get into. I'm just going to talk about MPJ when he's healthy though, and they give him the ball. The team their offense operates so different than when he's out and they have to put some small forward in who looks like me shooting the ball. So it's a totally different thing. One question I want to ask you guys before we finish this segment: Marvin Bagley. I know it stings as Kings fans. Where would he drop in this draft? Because
Second round.
you think second round?
Yeah, I think second round. He's got definitely some talent, and he's shown it. He's shown flashes of it. He can perform as a role player for sure. Yeah, he definitely doesn't go undrafted. He's got some NBA
No, I
talent.
wasn't saying undrafted. I
Yeah.
thought more so like, does he drop 20 picks? Does he drop 30
Yeah, I
picks?
think second round's a little too harsh for
Is
the
it?
guy. I mean,
Well, consider injuries. He just got hurt again.
yeah, but like if you're looking at like Chandler Hutchinson was picked like in the 20s.
Yeah, he's not in the league anymore.
And you got guys like Zaire Smith and Troy Brown Jr. Like these are just random players in the league. I mean, Jalen Brunson was a second round pick. Like
Javon
he should have
Carter.
been way higher.
Jalen
But
Brunson's I consider for the 5th.
I mean, a guy like Omari Spellman. Like,
Okay.
he's
I
going-
hear you.
Great player.
I see him late first round.
Yeah.
I mean that's I feel like fair. I mean
Okay.
with his potential upside, you can even consider him in the teens.
Sure.
But,
Oh man. Yeah, no, probably not.
I mean,
for
if
me.
we're
20s.
assuming that like injuries aren't a thing, or if we are assuming,
Well, we have
injuries,
talked about that the whole time.
So then, yeah, I mean, I still think that he would be like in the 20s.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's a
good
good
segment.
Kings insider. That was a great segment, guys.
Yeah, good job.
Our first ever draft coverage. Let's do something ever. Something.
Let's do something
let's
ever.
let's do another first ever.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
I love it.
Here on the Small Ball Podcast, Trevor, we are going to be doing a player spotlight.
What?
Yeah, it's true. We're a lot of first evers here in 2023.
Wow.
And we wanted to give some love to some maybe small market teams or players that we feel like deserve that attention.
Absolutely.
It's easy to give love to the big names. It's easy to give love even to a player like Jokic because he's in the spotlight, or Donovan Mitchell who's in the spotlight. But this is a little bit different. We're giving love to players who have had good performances, maybe been on a good run, and they're getting some small ball spotlight. So, Trev, I'll let you start.
All right. Let me give this to you guys. There's a guy in the Western Conference on a small market team that is shooting 40% from deep, averaging 19 points per game, 4 assists and 4 rebounds. And many common fans would not be able to tell you his name. His name is Devin Vassell
Yep.
with San Antonio.
Nice.
He's been playing really good basketball. They're a team that they're not good at all. They have some pieces that I really like: Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, and Devin Vassell has shined through those guys and has been someone that Popovich can rely on. And he's shooting a good clip. Definitely deserves some more love.
I think if Devin Vassell was on a better team or on a team in a bigger market, he would get a whole lot more attention.
Yeah.
Because he is a really fun player to watch. It's unfortunate he's a Spur the time he is because they're just in the middle of a complete rebuild. But he's a great player, and he's really fun for a team that doesn't get to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and as a rebuilding team, how encouraging that this is a guy that's been developed in your system for 2.5 years now. He's only 22 years old. He's raising his value this season, and if you're a Spurs fan, you got to be happy about it for sure.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
spotlight time, Devin Vassell. It's your time to shine. Thank
Christian.
you.
I like that.
That was great, Trevor.
Thank you.
I'm also staying in the West. I'm going up the rankings a little bit to a team that has a winning record.
Whoa.
And it is the Portland Trail Blazers.
Oh.
Okay.
And the player that I just want to give a good old shout out to is Jeremy Grant.
Hello.
Nice.
Jeremy Grant has been awesome for the Blazers.
Yeah.
I mean, he's shooting, 44% from three-point line this year,
Dang.
which is nuts. That is amazing shooting. He's averaging a little over 20 points a game, 4 rebounds, couple assists. I just think that his length, his defensive ability that he provides for Portland has been awesome and kind of gives them a little bit of a kind of a unique look. They have a ton of switchable guys. So when it comes to later in the season, maybe even if they make it to playoffs, their defense is going to be pretty tough. And I think what's been huge with Jeremy Grant is he went to the Pistons to be like that number one offensive choice guy. And he learned what it took to be that. And then he comes to a team with a guy that has tremendous ability,
pedigree.
Dame Lillard, and even Anthony Simons, to where, he could take over when they need him to, but he doesn't have to do it every night.
Here's a cool perspective on Portland and the impact of obviously Damian Lillard, but also pairing Dame now with Anthony after a year alone and Jeremy Grant. The team, if they win 8 more games, they have the same record that they did last year, or the same amount of wins that they did last year. So they've definitely improved, and a large part of it is because of Jeremy Grant.
That might have been the best offseason acquisition last year.
It's up there for sure.
It was just at the time too. I wasn't sure how that fit would work, but it has been a perfect fit. He has been awesome in Portland. They deserve a lot of credit for going out and trading. They traded for him, right?
Yeah.
And to get him on your team, and now, the Blazers are going to be a very, very pesky team in the West come playoff time.
Definitely.
So great spotlight, Christian.
Thanks, Scott.
I'm going to travel over to the East.
Yeah.
I'm going to be traveling to our nation's capital
What?
in D.C. I'm going to be talking about a guy who has gotten coverage in the past, but this is a team that I think just deserves love, and a player that deserves love. That's Kristaps Porzingis.
Come on.
They're on a 5-game win streak. In that win streak, Kristaps has 21 points, 9.4 rebounds per game, with wins over Philadelphia, Sacramento, Phoenix, Milwaukee, and Orlando. And I feel like Porzingis deserves some positive spotlight because it feels like, especially the last couple of years, the only thing that gets brought up are his injuries, and he can't stay healthy, and you got to stay away from him. Blah 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 blah.
I'm sick of it.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
This is a Porzingis podcast.
Yes.
Put some respect on his name.
Amen. And so it's a really positive sign to see that he's been able to stay healthy this season and to have, a really successful stretch that we're seeing right now.
The Wizards, just in general, that team has 3 players averaging more than 20 points per game. So Kristaps, along with Bradley Beal and Kyle Kuzma, they've all been performing well. I mean, I want to see Beal be more healthy, but man, they look good. And with Rui Hachimura coming back, averaging 14 points per game and playing so confident, he looks so comfortable out there. Like this is the best he's looked in his career so far. Still a younger player from Gonzaga. So, I really like what Washington's doing, and Porzingis, man, he's back.
Yeah. The Wizards are an interesting team because I feel like they have a lot of good young talent, and I'm curious of like the direction they're going to go if they're going to try to this deadline, because even the rumors of earlier this season of Kyle Kuzma kind of wanting out, maybe going to a California team. I wonder if they keep winning, does that solve or resolve, I should say, all these speculations and issues that Kyle had, and would he re-sign with them this summer?
That's tough because they're still 4 games under 500. They've been playing good basketball for sure recently, but they looked awful to start the year. So I don't know. I guess only time will tell. Is it maybe one of those, hey, do we really believe in what we're seeing right now with these guys? Or, hey, let's sell high right now if you don't believe that.
Yeah, it's one of the teams to watch for at the deadline. But it is really encouraging to see them right now in that 10th spot in the East.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of teams behind them that have been underperforming. But as a Wizards fan, you have to kind of take this in and say, this is what winning is like.
Yeah.
They've
had a rough go at it.
Yeah.
I feel like they're a team that's like constantly like mediocre.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this is probably completely normal to them.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I think those are 3 spotlights that we had to cover. Give some love here on the Small Ball Podcast because, guys, guess what? That's why we do this podcast. But most importantly, one final note. Christian, we had a fan that did something pretty special for us over the Christmas break. I'll let you kind of explain.
Yeah. So we had a fan track us down saying that, they had a gift for us. And we're like, oh, cool. Yeah, we'd love gifts. 'Tis the season. And so she came by our headquarters here where we do our pod.
She knows where we record?
Yeah, because it's a public place.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so she came by and she... made us all close our eyes. This is actually sounding a lot weird now that I think about it. But when we opened our eyes, we had in our lap Small Ball Podcast T-shirts, custom made. So if you're watching the video, you can see the Small Ball logo. Scott's gonna turn around real quick.
For Spotify listeners, Christian will describe as you stare at your wall and listen to our show.
Yep. Yeah. Pointed at the camera, Scott. Yep. Yeah. So
Arch
Scott is
the back a
turned
little
around, butt to the camera, and on the back of the shirt, it is a outline of our famous picture of all 3 of us.
It's fun.
Trevor is flexing. I'm holding a basketball, and Scott is constipated. So that is the back of our shirt, and it's pretty sick. If you guys are interested in the shirts, let us know, and we may sell them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. Just people wearing small ball shirts.
Small ball shirts.
Wow.
Small ball shirts from small ball guys.
Yeah, so shout out to Janelle, avid listener, big small ball fan.
Fiance of the show.
Yeah, she may be my fiance.
But I'm glad you left that at the end because I think you told that story long enough where people might have been skipping through or turned off the podcast. It was perfect. But needless to say, we are very grateful for you, Janelle, and we're grateful for everyone who listens.
Yeah, thank you.
Seriously, it's really sweet. So
Thanks, Chanel.
thanks, Janelle.
Thanks, Janelle.
There it is.
The Triple Crown.
There it is.
That was our 3rd voice crack. Trevor was the first. I had a couple.
I thought I had a couple too.
Yeah, Trevor, but Trev, then myself. Christian, though.
The fallen soldier.
Christian
Last
was
one.
like, my voice doesn't crack, guys.
Yeah,
We gotcha.
we gotcha. Gotcha journalism.
Late bloomer.
Late bloomer. Anyways, I think that's the perfect note to end on here. It is so great to be back, and we are so thankful for our loyal producer, Matt G.
Yep.
And of course, I'm Scott Ayers alongside Trevor Micklin and Christian Dennis. We say so long for now, and we will see you next week.
Small balls back!